a severe thunderstorm warning. Now it's a tornado warning because of that possible rotation working through. Let me shut off that warning box again. That's tornado warning running until 4:15. Leesville, Rollsville, Wake Forest. You folks are under the gun for this as this pushes off to the north and to the east. We're going to stop this. We're going to zoom down in. I'm going to walk through it with you. We can actually see it almost looks like a circle. This is typical radar. This is what you're used to seeing at home. And you can kind of see this circle right here where there's that green area. That's where the rotation would be working right across Leesville Road. That circle is right in there. That's what we're watching as far as a possible radar, Doppler radar indicated tornado. We want to go from that radar onto our radar, a live look at First Alert Doppler. And where First Alert Doppler doesn't always punch through the rain as well as the National Weather Service does, it does give us real-time feel for where the storm is because National Weather Service radar updates about every 6 minutes. Our Doppler radar updates every sweep. So we're seeing this real time. So now this is sliding north of Leesville. It's just north of Leesville. The rotating part of the storm is now near Norwood Road, working towards Six Forks, where it crosses over State Route 98, New Light Road. If you know where 98 and 50 cross each other there, north of Norwood, that's the area that's under the gun right now. If you live in places like Stony Hill, near the Shinleaf camping area, New Light Road, Six Forks Road, north of Bayleaf, Possum Track Road, those are the areas, Shooting Club Road, those are the areas where you need to be in your shelter now, away from it. Briar Creek, you are in the clear. This is almost through the Leesville Road area. You're just about done with that. We'll wait on our next radar sweep to kind of push through and show us exactly where it is. This is now past the airport. As a matter of fact, that's the cool thing about our mapping, and we can actually zoom down in. You can see this back edge of the Raleigh-Durham International Airport showing up right here. That's the main runways there. And if we zoom it back out, that area of storms now is off to the north and to the east and continuing to work to the north and east. And this does include portions of southern Granville County. We can throw all the counties up there that are under this watch and warning, this tornado warning, Durham, Granville, and Wake counties now. So those are the three counties under this possible Doppler radar indicated tornado. This was the rotation started. It was a very clear rotation just south and west of the airport. As a matter of fact, Steve and I, meteorologist Steve Stewart and I were sitting here talking about it. And as Steve said, look at the rotation in that one cell. Steve, are you on? Do we have Steve's microphone here too? If we have Steve's microphone here too, he's also looking, he's on Weather One. So if the director's listening, folks, this is just behind the scenes TV, but we're going to talk to the director so we can tell him where we go and what we need to do. If we can go to Weather One, Steve is actually working on Weather One right now with more on that. There you go, Steve.
All right.
Let's show him what we're looking at as far as that rotation goes.
Yeah, so we see where it is. And a lot of times when we're under warnings for an entire large area, everyone's in the panic mode, but we know where it is and the direction that it's moving. So the likelihood of it turning is 0 to none. It's going to keep the straight line northeast. So these areas down here near Wake Forest and farther south, moving at a good pace. Now, we've seen storms move faster than this. I mean, we've had some at 50, 60 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour is still a pretty good clip, but this is, you can see the back edge. The front is still well back here to our west, but the clouds, you've been seeing how fast they've been moving. The winds aloft are really strong, and that also is an indication that we'll get some strong straight line winds, which can be just as damaging as a weaker tornado. But the entire area until 8 p.m., and this is going to be whittled down, but it is under a tornado watch, less Person County now. But we have one warning in effect. And Don, I've been looking at rotation, looking for other places and not seeing it. So this is really the area of concern at this time.
That's good. I mean, that's great news. We don't want to see rotation. We definitely knew going into today that we would see the potential for some strong to severe storms, especially with when you're seeing ground wind speeds at 30 and 40 miles an hour. If you get a storm thunderstorm working through at 20 miles an hour. Add that to a 40-mile-an-hour typical wind with what we're seeing today. Bang, all of a sudden you got 60-mile-an-hour winds working through, and you get those severe thunderstorm warnings that we've really been watching all afternoon long. We continue to see that tornado warning in effect for another 11 minutes from the National Weather Service in Raleigh. And Steve, I'm going to step around here real quick and just look at our, we have an uplink with the National Weather Service. They are actually showing reports of a possible tornado near RDU on the ASOS. So
that was this cell that when we had that really tight couplet. Yeah. Since then, this has moved off. So the question is, look, they're just updating the warning right now as we speak. So which is not uncommon. This isn't a new cell that we're looking at. They're just updating where the warning is at this time. So it's moving off to the northeast, still at about 30 miles an hour. You can see where the center is. Let me try and get some towns on here. There's really not a lot. There's Youngsville, well out of the area. We don't have to worry about that. This is moving off basically to your north and west. It might get close to Franklinton if it holds together. At 30 miles an hour, it is moving at a good clip. So we'll be watching this to continue moving up towards Kittrell. Now, it might hold together all that way as we get closer to Highway 1. Yeah.
This is just the latest from the National Weather Service. So I'm going to tell you about the one that just got issued. That is the tornado warning now for Durham, Franklin, Granville, Wake counties until 4:30. So it has been extended for another 15 minutes. That now runs until 4:30. Just getting an update from National Weather Service, Nick Petro. You've seen him on our air 100 times. He's their warning coordination meteorologist. He says, although it's largely weakened, there are hints of tornado debris as it was just west of RDU. And that's what we were showing you when we were showing you those weird things, the correlation coefficient and the stuff that you're not used to seeing. That was actual possible tornado debris, along with a funnel cloud being reported by a observer for the National Weather Service, suggesting a tornado may have touched down just west of RDU. And based on that tornado signature, it may have happened along or just east of the Durham Freeway, Highway 147 on the Wake County, Durham County line. So they're looking for reports of damage in that area. Again, if we've got photographers headed out toward that area, possible tornado damage, and this would be right along Highway 147, just east of there on the Wake County, Durham County freeway line, possible debris. And we also had a funnel cloud reported with this cell. Now, that cell has weakened. That was earlier. That is not right now. That was earlier.
And I was going back in time and showing how tight that couplet was. And a lot of times we get what we call a family of tornadoes. When we do have one cell, it can generate a tornado, maybe only for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It'll do its damage, and then something that disrupts the circulation, it goes away. But the cell can spawn other ones because it's still rotating. There is an incredible amount of rotation going on just above us. As you go up in the atmosphere, the air is moving in different directions. So we get that rotation. Any cell can start to rotate, and then that can spawn that tornado.
And then you get another one, and then you get another one. If we could go back to Weather 3, we've actually got radar up with the newest tornado warning kind of centered on Weather 3 for the director. We're working off of Weather 3 now. You see that tornado warning in effect. That pink, there are two pink polygons on there. It's the northern one that we are really watching now because that's where this cell has moved up to. We have that tornado warning now in effect until 4:30 for that northern area, Durham, Franklin, Granville, Wake counties, Creedmoor, Wake Forest, and Youngsville. Let's zoom down in and see if we can get a better look at any possible rotation and give you an idea who's under the gun with this next. We'll slide this off to the north a little bit. There's Leesville, and it's that kind of bright burgundy area. I know it doesn't look like much at home, and you might look at it and go, what are we looking at? This is, so the amazing thing about Doppler radar, not only does it show us where the raindrops are, where the heavy rain is, and where it's headed to. I mean, that's a wonderful tool. But Doppler radar also can show us which way those raindrops are moving and being pointed. And so that's why we can, in the olden days, 20 years ago, we would have to look for certain radar signatures. Now we can actually see where the rotation is happening. And when we see that rotation happening, they issue a tornado warning. It looks like they've just issued a severe thunderstorm warning as well. That's the yellow kind of glowing box on your screen right now. I will shut the radar off for a second, just show you our warning. So you see the glowing box right there, that yellow box, that is a severe thunderstorm warning just issued from the National Weather Service. This is the newest warning to be issued. We'll see if we can get the information on that. We have the tornado warning until 4:15. We have the other one until 4:30. And then that newest one, we'll zoom down in on the northern tip of this. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15 for Durham, Franklin, Granville, and Wake County, 60-mile-an-hour winds, all because of that possible tornado. So not only are we watching for possible rotation inside a storm, we are watching very heavy straight-line winds working through. Steve is on the phone there. Steve, your mic is hot, just giving you a heads up. So I'm not sure who you're talking to, but we're getting data in from different folks around the area. This storm possibly touching down, a tornado possibly touching down just west of RDU when that rotation popped up. Now the rotation, it has weakened considerably, but it is still moving to the north. So let's give you an idea where the rotation is, who's under the gun now, and what you need to be doing. If you're just joining us, it's 10 minutes after 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. We are tracking an active tornado warning as the system moves out of Wake County and works its way into southern Granville, western Franklin, and southern Vance counties. The people who need to be taking shelter right now, let me go in and give you some of the roads there. Horseshoe Road, Lawrence Road, Grissom, that area, Pocomoke, that was mentioned earlier, Old Liberty Circle, looks like Philo White Road, just east of Mount Energy, US 1, west of Franklinton especially. If you live in Franklin County, west of Franklinton on State Highway 56, this is headed right for you. That rotation is headed right for you. One more time, always a good idea to go through our tornado safety. Know where to go. If a tornado is headed, you should have a plan. You should have talked about it, but if you didn't, that's okay. We got you covered. Stay away from the second story. Most damage occurs on the top floor of a building, so don't be upstairs. Go to the lowest level. If you have a basement, that's where you want to be. Not everybody has a basement around here. We get that. So the next thing you want to do is go to the interior room, hallway, bathroom. You want to have as many walls between you and the outside as you can. So do not be next to an outside wall. You need to be in an interior room. Go to the lowest floor in the house. Interior hallway, bathroom. Avoid windows. Get low. Cover your head. Take a big old blanket and throw it over you. Most injuries that happen with the tornado happen from flying debris, especially flying glass. So if you can cover yourself with a heavy tarp or blanket or mattress, you're protected from that flying debris as it works through. We went on the air about 3:50 for a possible tornado just west of RDU. The latest now is a tornado warning still in effect until 4:30 for Durham, Franklin, Granville, and Wake counties. I think the one that was issued will be allowed to expire, that was supposed to expire at 4:15, because pretty much that area is in the clear. Now it's this new area we're watching. Let's go back to weather weather 1. Steve Stewart is on that and keeping an eye right now on that severe thunderstorm warning that was also issued too for that area because of the possibility of damaging straight line winds.
Right, it's just so windy aloft, and this heavy rain can translate that down to the surface. So the entire area, you might even think that you have a tornado nearby, and it's just a strong gusty wind. So the entire area needs to be on alert right now. That's in this box, and it's heading towards the Kittrell area. We're waiting for a new scan to see if the rotation's still there. It's more of a broad circulation right now, which again, we have this when it's a really tight couplet like it was when it was close to the airport. Then the confidence really goes up that we might have a tornado on the ground, and we have reports of seeing that funnel cloud and the potential of some debris there as well. Out to investigate that as we speak. But as we continue along this line, the heavy rain is going to be noticed as well. Incredibly heavy rain. So you don't want to be out for a number of reasons, but there's a lot of ponding on the roadways with some of the rainfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour. So it doesn't take long before we start getting ponding and some flooding concerns there. Meantime, if we take a look at the broader view, you can see that's the back edge of this. It's moving over us right now. Once that lifts on by, we're pretty much done. So we're going to see some improving conditions here relatively shortly, but the clouds are just absolutely racing right now. It's full sunshine in Charlotte. The front hasn't moved through there yet, but we don't expect much in the way of activity as far as severe weather when the actual front comes through later on this evening. You're looking at it now. You're looking at the batch that's moving through as we speak with these heavier showers and thunderstorms. Don, you're over at the wall. I'm going to toss it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. We're taking a live look. If you're just joining us, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Don Schwenneker as we continue to first alert you to a tornado warning that is working through the area. Steve, I'm going to have you zoom down in on the latest tornado warning we're watching right now. It is this area right here, that tornado warning running until the first one started clear back. Now this one runs until 4:30 for Durham, Franklin, Granville, and Wake counties, Creedmoor, Wake Forest, and Youngsville. We are tracking this possible tornado. Here, right here, you can see a little bit of rotation showing up right there. That's what I'm guessing, that green, that couplet right there. Would that be on the backside? Well, we'll keep an eye on this and take a look at as it moves through. Now, no problem. So Steve and I are working together on this, and this thing has weakened considerably. It makes it harder to find the rotation. That doesn't mean there isn't rotation there. The good news is, if we're not seeing strong rotation, we're not seeing a lot of. So basically, here's how radar works. There's an invisible beam. It gets sent out. It bounces off the raindrop, and it comes back. That shows us where the raindrops are. We can see which way those raindrops are pointed using Doppler radar. That shows us where the rotation is. The third thing it will do is, if that tornado is on the ground, it's lifting up things like dirt, trees, parts of buildings. We get what's called a debris ball. And so the radar beam will bounce off those pieces of debris, and if that tornado is active and on the ground, we see a lot of bright colors. The good news for us right now, we're not seeing that tornado signature, that debris signature that we saw earlier when this storm was near RDU on the Wake County, Durham County line. We actually were starting to see a little possible debris get zapped into that. But right now, that Oh, great. We have a live shot coming in from Creedmoor Road. I'm told you're going to see very wet roads. If you've got a loved one out there right now that is driving home from their workday, even if they're not in the path of the warning, everything slows down in Wake County, and it's very windy. So if they drive a high-profile vehicle, we need to watch for winds in excess of 40, even 60 miles an hour are possible with this storm as it works through. Steve's showing us where this possible rotation is. There's Horseshoe Road. Here's 56, Philo White Road. This is northeast of Leesville. We are talking right on the Franklin County line. That's 96 and 56. 56 runs straight down into Franklinton. So that's on the west side of Franklinton. And then 96 runs north through Kennedy Mills Road. That's where the area of rotation is right now. The warning still goes for another 13 minutes. We'll wait and see if the National Weather Service wants to extend it. The good news is that the rotation is certainly not as strong. This thing has weakened considerably from the time we went on the air, but it has been moving north-northeast. So even if you're up in Watkins, Kittrell, Franklinton, those areas, you don't have to be in your safe spot just yet in Kittrell, but know where to go, just in case this thing refires. Steve mentioned this earlier, and meteorologist Steve Stewart and I working First Alert team coverage this afternoon, and meteorologist Steve Stewart mentioned this earlier, that some of these cells can spawn a tornado and suck it back up and drop another one down, and suck it back up and drop another one down. So we have to watch for those. Now, we are under a tornado watch through 8 o'clock tonight. Person County was actually taken out of that tornado watch. Difference between a watch and a warning means it's happening. A watch means it could happen. I saw an online meteorologist say the difference between a watch and a warning, if you have all the ingredients to bake cookies, that's a watch. When you've baked the cookies, that's the warning. And so we have a tornado watch for the entire viewing area. It looks like they just updated this right there. You saw it live on the air as I'm seeing it live on the air. We now have taken Wake County out of the tornado warning. So if you are in Wake County, you are in the clear. But the tornado warning continues for western Franklin, southern Granville County, from Creedmoor to Youngsville to Franklinton. Our computer shows possible hail size, but we were actually using a tool called Hail Scope earlier. There's no hail to show you. We're not seeing any reports of hail with this. There's not a lot of ice in the atmosphere right now. We're just watching this area of rotation. This white line clear down here, that's the Wake County line. And so the rotation has cleared Wake County. So Wake County, we do not have a warning for Wake County. Wake County is now clear. So if you've been in a safe spot in Wake County, you can watch. And I know if there are kids home this afternoon, maybe you're waiting for mom and dad to get home and you're home by yourself, this can be scary, but that's why we're tracking it for you to help keep you safe. And so if you're in Wake County and you're a kid and you're home watching, you can You can get out of your safe space. You're clear. But Franklinton up in toward Creedmoor. This area right between two. There's Franklin and my bottom right. Here's Creedmoor clear over here. It's between those two areas that we're seeing the possible rotation. It's still there. It's still extremely... It's still weakened considerably compared to what it was just a little while ago, but it's still there and it's still moving to the north and east. And even if we don't see a tornado with it, the winds along this line could be in excess of 60 miles per hour. That's enough to cause power outages. Now, we haven't had any reports of power outages just yet in the area, but that's enough to bring trees down. And we all know those big old pines with the short root balls, and the wind gets going and it can take those trees down. All of a sudden, boom, you lose power for those areas. So we do have to watch out for possible power outages. The good news is this line is moving very fast. So the bad news is it's got a lot of wind with it. But the good news is it will move out quickly. And I think as we head towards 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we're going to clear this entire system out of here. But again, here's what we have to watch for. These are fast-moving storms. You can see storm-generated winds at 20 miles an hour. So the storm's moving at 55. It's flying up here. And not to mention, these storms can grow tall enough they can actually tap into the jet stream and funnel this wind right toward the ground. And you'll see storm-generated winds at 20 miles an hour plus the storm moving at 55. And now you got wind gusts going 75 miles an hour. And that'll take trees down and cause power outages. So we're resetting a little bit, taking a look. We step back a little bit, look at radar and kind of see what's going on. This is one of the things we specialize as meteorologists. We take specialty radar classes to be able to look at this and read this and look for the signs of severe weather and then first alert you to those warnings and the troublesome spots that do pop up. Right now, we're just watching this circle. It almost looks like a donut right there. Yeah, I know. Chubby guy saying donut, but it almost looks like a donut right here. This is where that rotation would be if there is a lot of rotation, and there's not. If this were a really big tornado that were thrashing through areas, we'd see lots of green in there and we'd see other things showing up. We're not seeing that. This is a very weak rotation now. This thing has weakened considerably as it slid off to the north and to the east, but still, that doesn't mean we don't take it just as seriously as if it were a tornado on the ground, because this thing real quick could spin right back up. So Franklinton over to Creedmoor, Kittrell, those are the areas right now. This is visible satellite. Cool thing about visible satellite is we can actually, if we were in space right now and we were looking down at North Carolina, the dark areas, and that may seem counterintuitive, but the dark areas are where it's sunny. That's because we're not seeing the sun reflect off those nice white clouds, so it makes it all the way to the ground. And you can see Charlotte to Boone, they're clear. They've got sunshine over here. The front is working east. We are under these thick clouds, and with all of this moisture, that is what's causing the severe weather. Now, some of the rain we've seen throughout the day has helped to keep a lid on this severe weather. It can help stabilize the atmosphere a little bit. And I mean, it's raining heavy. If I look outside our studio, I go from here to the only downtown studio. We can look right out the window. We've got a heavy batch of rain working through downtown Raleigh right now. But northern Wake County, the rain has stopped. You've got heavier showers now in eastern Lee County, northwestern Harnett County, some heavy rain there. And then we've got heavy rain working off to the north and east. Here's downtown Raleigh. Here's Holly Springs, Anger. Look at this heavy cell back here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That's certainly heavy rain. Steve, can you throw up the hail scope real quick? Let's just make sure we're not seeing any hail. First, he's checking for rotation. We're not seeing any big areas of rotation in there. If we were, they'd be bright colors. Yeah, not much showing up. I know that some of these storms could generate hail. If we saw hail, this is really cool. So let me show you what we're looking at real quick, because this is something you may not have seen. This is called hail scope. So we basically can use this like a magnifying glass. It takes out all of the radar stuff that you're used to seeing, and then it replaces. If there were data in here, it would turn bright orange. So if we had hail working through the area right now, we'd see these bright orange areas. So we're not seeing any hail at least show up via radar. So that is good news. Thanks, Steve, for showing that to us. Oh, hey, we're taking a live look right outside our studios here in downtown Raleigh, and you can see a little bit of shake in the camera coming from there. Every now and then we get gusts and those sheets of rain working through, and that's what you're seeing downtown. And as we head toward the afternoon, and folks are getting off work downtown, and I know right across the street from us is Wake County Courthouse. At 5 o'clock, that place just empties out. So if by the time they let out, this batch of showers should be through downtown, but it still slows everybody down on the roads, and it makes for a long commute home for those who have to deal with it. The reason we're on the air right now in continuous coverage, if you're just joining us, good afternoon. We'll get to ABC11 Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock in just a bit. We are on live continuously right now because of a tornado warning that remains in effect for another 5 minutes for southern Granville County and then over into western Franklin County. We had rotation work through. We had a possible tornado on the ground in near RDU, but it has lifted off. Now, as we go to this, so this is velocity. This is not looking at where the rain is. This is looking at where the raindrops are pointed. We're just not seeing a lot of rotation. I think this thing is done. I mean, the warning goes for another 6 minutes, but it has weakened considerably. That being said, just stay in your safe place just to be safe. I don't want to tell you to get out, and there's still 5 minutes left on this warning, but I really think this area is pretty much, as a matter of fact, Steve, go back to that. Look at this. Because we can show you live radar right now, it's almost done even raining. So it's just this little part right here. I think Granville County, you're in the clear. I think this is mainly western Franklin County now that we just have to watch. And even that has weakened considerably. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, but we are not seeing any rotation with that. Heavier rain showers back into southern Wake County. We're looking at our radar, I would assume, right? Yeah. Steve, this is our radar versus National Weather Service radar. Our radar, and it looks like there's some heavy rain right over our radar site. So that's why this looks a little weaker, because as the beam goes out, it hits all the raindrops that are close to it. So then we can switch over to National Weather Service radar, and sure enough, it looks a little more intense here in the northwestern tip of Harnett County. That'll be the next kind of area of heavy rain. We'll be certainly keeping our eye on. Other than that, we're clearing the region right now. But east of Sanford, if you're in Holly Springs, if you're in Fuquay Arena right here, you're about to get hit with some very heavy rain. Not severe, but certainly some heavy rain. This is tracking right toward Fuquay Arena, and there's Fuquay Arena on the map. And that's going to be working through. North of Lillington, talking about Clibbett Springs, and then north of Fuquay as you get into southern Garner, you're going to pick up that heavier rain shower activity over the next 20 minutes as that works through. I think that'll be the area to keep an eye on, but it is not severe. The only warning we have in our entire viewing area right now is that tornado warning that is in effect in southern Granville County. I think you're clear of that, but western Franklin County, that would be the only area right now when we have the tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock. So just because this is going to expire in less than 3 minutes, we're not done with the severe weather possibility. That tornado watch. They've already done it with Person County. Person County is now out of the tornado watch. And then we will see other counties taking off that as western Franklin County. That's the area right here. This little area in the showers right there. That is it, and we're keeping an eye on it. And our policy, folks, is we stay on the air with a tornado warning until we've been cleared from the National Weather Service. And I know that can be annoying, especially if you're down in Sampson County right now and you're going, it's not raining here.
They expired.
They just went ahead and expired it. So we are done. It's not off our maps just yet. But guys, we are done with our tornado warnings. No other warnings to pass along to you right now. But of course, it's time for ABC 11 Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. We'll get you to the news in just a moment. Stay with us.